Define activities. Define activities is the second process of time management. This is where we actually define what has to be done on the project. So we actually define a list of tasks. Tasks and activities are used interchangeably, means the same thing in this world. So our mission is to create a list of all project activities. That's really what we're trying to get out of this. We're trying to get an activity list as our output. So let's take a look at the inputs here. Our inputs, we already know these, the schedule management plan, we just saw that previously. The scope baseline. Remember, I told you I'll be a broken record. What is in the scope baseline? Do you know what's in the scope baseline? Hello? I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you in there. Can you hear me? Hello? Anyone there? Anyone home? Do you remember what is in the scope baseline? Oh, I'm not getting the response I want. Okay, that's one. So the project scope statement. What next? Do you remember what comes next? The WBS. Good. You guessed that right. And lastly, the what? The what dictionary? WBS dictionary. Great job. Those three things. Okay. I'm less inclined to be in broken record mode. Very good. So we've got these. We already know what those are. And our usual friends, EEFs and OPAs. All right? All of those are the inputs. Now the tools and techniques, there's one tool and technique that you're going to see as well in Create WBS. Do you remember what it is? Do you remember that tool and technique that you use to create the WBS? You use it here. I've given you a big hint. It's decomposition. So we use decomposition, one, rolling wave planning. Rolling wave planning is where we plan stuff happening in the near term in detail and stuff happening far away. We plan at a high level, and as we get towards the place where the work is being performed on the timeline, we begin to decompose it. Remember, rolling wave planning. Expert judgment, we've talked about, and our output, the big output activity list. Now, along with the activity list, there's certain attributes of those activities that we need to consider and factor in. An activity attribute further describes the activity. So for example, fill is laying tile. That's the activity. What's an attribute of the activity? Fill is laying tile in Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, the location of the activity is one of the activity attributes. The geographical location, the resource, what is the preceding activity? You know, what is the succeeding activity? Predecessors, successors. All of that is part of those activity attributes. And lastly, milestone list. A list of milestones. What is a milestone? A zero duration event. You know, when you're presenting to management, they want the big stuff. They don't sweat the small stuff. That's the PM's job, right? The PM and the team sweat the small stuff. But management wants to know, what are the milestones? What are the milestones? So if you get a question asking you which of these is a good tool to present information to senior management, and you've got milestone list, it might be the best option. So let's jump into define activities and talk about this in more detail.